He said that he could only love me. It might sound sweet to other people, but I was extremely annoyed at hearing this. He was going to get himself a girlfriend, whether he liked it or not. In this age of women empowerment and gender equality, would you believe that there are still people who treat women as properties? That is the mindset of my parents. You see, they feel that a daughter was a means to advance the family's wealth and social status. Even when our family migrated to the States, they still held on to such an absurd concept. You can call me Nima. When I was born, a lot of people said that I was beautiful, so my mother raised me to be a graceful lady. Ever since I was young, both my parents had told me that I can do whatever I wanted to do with my life. But I had to make sure that I married a wealthy man. This desire that my parents had for me had caused great strife between us because, first of all, I never imagined myself marrying a man. You see, I'm not interested in the opposite sex. I liked women, but I kept my identity a secret from my parents since I was sure they'd freak out once they found out. If you keep secrets from your parents too, like this video and subscribe. Make sure to turn on the notification bell to keep updated with other fascinating stories like this. In my early 20s, I worked part-time as a waitress while I took classes at a local community college. There was this guy who always had breakfast in the diner where I worked. And he drove this really classy Porsche. Every waitress there subtly flirted with him. I learned that his name was Shahid and that he was loaded. Shahid and I became friends. We hung out like guys do. We played and talked about sports. We went hiking, fishing. We played video games. We also drank together like crazy. He told me that he found me different than all the other girls he knew because I was the only girl he knew who had the same interests as him. Well, duh, I really wasn't interested in him. I liked women. But of course, he didn't know that. One time, Shahid and I went on a drinking spree, and I was too drunk to even remember what went on, but we ended up in bed and I got pregnant. I wanted to raise the kid alone, but Shahid had this crazy idea of marrying me. I refused him several times, but he was very insistent. He even offered my family a really huge dowry. Who offers a dowry for marriage nowadays? If we were back in Pakistan, that would have been understandable, but hello, we are in another country living a very different culture. Despite me protesting, Shahid gave the money to my parents anyways. Hence, my parents gave me away just like that. I wanted to refuse the marriage, but thought that marrying Shahid would give my child a good life, so I married him. I must say that Shahid had been a great husband and a friend to me. He gave me a luxurious life. He never forced himself on me. He was gentle, and I can honestly say that he loved me dearly. I could confidently say that Shahid is every woman's dream husband. I don't think there's a better man out there than him. Unfortunately, I couldn't love him as a man, no matter how hard I tried in our 5-year sexless marriage. Inside, I'm gay. And even when I wasn't actively seeking same-sex relationships out of respect for our marriage, I couldn't find it in me to love him more than just a brother or a friend. I feel so guilty about this. I know that Shahid has his own needs and that he needs the love and care of a woman, something that I could never give him. So I finally told him about my concerns and asked for a divorce. He was very accepting, but told me that the divorce was out of the question unless I was unbearably sad living with him, which I was not because he's actually a really good person. As Shahid's wife and friend, I really wanted him to be happy, but I knew very well that I couldn't please him like a woman, so I thought instead of convincing him to get another wife. I knew that the idea was unconventional, but we were Muslims and our religion allows polygamy. So I told Shahid that he could marry another woman. The more the merrier, I told him, but he refused. He said that he could only love me. It might sound sweet to other people, but I was extremely annoyed at hearing this. He was going to get himself a girlfriend, whether he liked it or not. I created a Tinder account for him and matched him up with a lot of gorgeous ladies. With his good looks, ladies came a-flocking, and it wasn't difficult to set him up. I asked Shahid to go on dates with these ladies. As expected, he refused, so I was forced to blackmail him. I told him that I had cancer, and if he didn't go out on any of the dates I set him up with, I would refuse any form of treatment. He said I was being unreasonable, but he agreed to my whims anyhow. He dated some of them, and one caught his interest. I encouraged him to pursue the relationship with her, but he told me that he'd only go out with her once a week and he'd never marry her. Well, whatever. You can say I'm crazy. At least I convinced him to get a girlfriend, and should he decide to marry her one day, I'd be happy for them. What's the craziest thing you've done? Share it with us in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this story, share this video to your friends and let's get it to 1,000 likes. And don't forget to watch our other nutty stories.